The Senshevan Commonwealth prides itself in the might of its vine-powered mechs, and for good reason, for they are deadly, nigh invulnerable machines of war, and a concentration of power the likes of which the world has seldom seen. However, the Bin Mecha are few, and they are costly to build and maintain, and so are their operators, for they are rarely skilled, needing to undergo rigorous training for a long time in order to control them sufficiently well. Therefore, the burden of protecting the Commonwealth and defeating its many enemies must but land more often than not on the backs of its rank and file, the humble but brave soldiers that take on that desperate duty, to its often grim conclusion. However, this being the Senshevan Commonwealth we're talking about, it would be strange indeed to see they had no use for the Yagdvine that powers its mechs in anything else, both in and out of battle. And this leads us to the humble, but incredibly important, porters. For what is more important to an army's success than its logistics? Although every soldier of the Commonwealth is expected to carry its own weapons and enough supplies for a few days, it is the job of the porters to carry pretty much everything else, and more. These hardy men and women need not have the biggest physiques, thanks to the extensive and powerful vineworks enhancing their every step, to carry the material that would encumber 3 to 5 healthy young men. Ammunition, powder, cookware, tents, weapons and their parts, or even bundles of replacement vines, are among the things chiefly carried by them in great quantity, and many of them double as cooks, repairmen and washers to the Senshevan troops while encamped. Their enhanced legs allow them to keep up with the march of the army over any terrain, even that which carts might find difficult or treacherous. And by doing so, they greatly speed up the march of the baggage train, allowing the armies of the Commonwealth to cover more ground, and more reliably so, than most of its enemies. But this makes for no easy job, as despite the physical help they provide, the vine muscles take a great toll on their user, so the bearer must have a healthy reserve of essence within themselves, and will oftentimes work in pairs with others of similar build, alternating the use of the vineworks frame each day to share the load. Moving on to more offensive tech, from the western provinces of the Commonwealth come the Drugen archers, clad in lightly armored vineplate, which lends strength to their already brawny backs and allows them to draw bows of incredible power. When most of the forces of the world have moved on from the ancient art of archery, these few but elite warriors cling to the old ways, going beyond them. Experts at crafting their own bows and building the strength and skill to shoot them from early childhood. As they progress to larger and stronger bows, so does the number of vines in their kurka, the distinctive jacket vest they wear, increase. Not only are their heavy arrows deadly at longer ranges than the average musket shot, but also more accurate and swift, and infinitely more silent, which serves them well in guerrilla warfare, and at ambushing and harassing the enemy, taking out their commanders and staff from afar, or positioning before the enemy can find them, never mind retaliate. In the rare cases they are forced into melee by an over-eager foe, they make no easy target, for the saber and buckler they carry are no mere decoration, and the vines give their arms a power and speed seldom outmatched. As much as range, accuracy and speed are crucial to the wars of this period, more often than not, the decisive moment will be seized in the close reach of melee, for which both valor and discipline are essential. And in the Senshevan army, other than the mech bearers, no soldiers are more celebrated, admired and feared than the heavily vine-enhanced infantry, both frontline warriors and sappers, the so-called breachers. An apt name, for who but them should break the deadly push of pike? Who else dares tread where mechs cannot, and charge into the very mouth of hell itself when it's needed? They wear a heavy set of vineplate, as it provides outrageous strength to their arms for their grisly labors. The thick steel provides ample protection against lesser firearms, even at close range, and the feeble blows of unaugmented men. They charge forward heedless of danger, and engage the enemy even where they are strongest, be it in their center of the battlefield, in their bulwarks, in their tunnels and palisades and forts. Their heavy axe easily undoes both foe and stronghold with the strength of well-trained arms and essence-powered sinews. its shorter length lending itself well to fights on contrived spaces. They also carry a short bombard shotgun, which would be unwieldy for an unenhanced warrior to bear, but can in turn pierce through most armor, heavy doors, locks, and non-fortified walls. The fearlessness of their squads and the strength of their arms and resolve make them justly feared by the enemies of the Commonwealth. If the Breachers are unrivaled among the infantry and within enclosed spaces, then the fast sprinting Ulan of the Commonwealth are the peerless rulers of the open fields in a pitched battle. For in the plant and metal haunches that distinguish this cavalry force, the rider becomes as a monster from times forgotten. The Bindworks blade all but becomes their own two legs, in an adaptation from the first knightly mechs of yore, which is the reason they're often known as demi-mechs. While less armor variants of the design are often used by scouts or messengers, the heavily plated war version is only worn by high-ranking officers and the Ulans of the shock cavalry. Their appearance after donning the gear is often mocked by Hecaxians and other enemies of the Commonwealth, dubbing them as chickens or turkeys. Yet the laughter is quick to die in their throats, as the tumultuous sound of swift yet heavy steps draws ever closer, growing into a deafening rumble, only broken by the sound of their characteristic battle cry that strikes fear in the heart of the enemy. Their wagging gait, so comical mere moments before, makes it hard to aim a shot at their relatively unprotected head and torso, as they implacably close the distance and, within almost melee range, discharge their pistols simultaneously just beyond the reach of pike and bayonet. Then they turn on their heels, retreating as they reload, leaving the enemy formation shambled and unsteady, only to return again within minutes to repeat the cycle again. They do so until the enemy is broken, or until they are recalled or otherwise engaged, and when it comes to the pursuit or the clash with other cavalry, they unsheath their great sabers, which they are able to grip in both hands with lethal skill. Well, that's it for today. I've been wanting to explore this aspect of the Commonwealth for a while now, so I'm glad I got to it at last. If you are new here and wondering what the hell is this all about, I recommend you check out this video. It covers the magic system, and thus serves as a good introduction to the project. Also consider joining our Discord, which has grown into a quite nice art/world-building community. I periodically show up to answer questions, share new artwork, and the like. Special thanks to all my amazing patrons for supporting this project. It is because of you that I was able to invest in some licensed music for the channel. But most of all, thank you all for watching this far. And if you like this project, you know what to do. See you on the next one. Cheers!